this? Incredible! This is
The Grove Podcast.
Hot off the pitch.
Hello, my name is Tabs, and welcome to the Grove Podcast, Hot Off the Pitch, our live stream post-match instant reaction. And there's a lot of instant reactioning going on at the moment, where we bring you an instant reaction to the game just gone. Minutes, well, it's meant to be minutes, but various things have happened post-final whistle. And I'm going to get all my noise out of the way now because my daughter just told me that you keep me up whenever you do these things and I need to go to bed. So, Jamie, you're going to have to be showing all the enthusiasm, which I know is not your forte.
Ed, that's not cool. Come on now.
No, as in, you're not, shall we say, as demonstrative as someone like myself. So, in terms of noise. So, get the fuck in. Unbelievable. 2-1 to our... No, 2-1. There's a lot of delirium going on. This is going to be very incoherent, but as I said, it's going to be a very joyous instant reaction. So Arsenal 1, Brighton have 0, and also to make it doubly sweet was Man City 2, taking the lead twice, Nottingham Forest 2. And joining me today is the effervescent Jamie. How are you doing? How are you feeling?
Fucking excellent, yeah. It's really funny though, isn't it, the margins? Because like to be honest, that was a fairly fucking boring match to watch. I thought the majority of that game was just a little bit tense and not the most enjoyable necessarily as an Arsenal fan. So it was those updates coming out of I'll keep going the same main road, coming out of the shithole that really delighted me and elevated the match day experience. Let's put it that way.
I mean, I think we talked about it the other day, and we mentioned it. It's like, to be honest, at this stage, no one cares about the performance. No one's going to be going back and analysing all this and all that and all this. It's 3 points, 7 points clear at the top. That is all anyone cares. And if at the end of the season we get what we want to get, this is an amazing result, if you ask me, an amazing result. And we'll dive into how and where and all the rest of it. And look, we're going to obviously have a lot of fun talking about the Brighton game, but then also we're going to just do a bit of a review of the Mansfield game coming out at the weekend, which it's hopefully going to be a lot stress free. So look, we get to the game, and I mean, first starting off with the team news. No Saliba, so again we have another thing like they did at Brentford, and suddenly sort of he's out of the equation for this evening. Very quiet, not too sure why. Nearly over Trossard, but then other than that, how did you feel about that lineup? Fairly happy? You weren't expecting anything different?
Fairly happy. I think so. Yeah, I don't think there was anything in there that I felt like was an issue. Exactly to say Saliba being missing was a bit of that's not brilliant, but at the same time, what a time for it to happen actually, because Mascara comes in, does great, but also admittedly wasn't. I felt there were a couple of moments where I could have done with William Saliba there, particularly when Minte came on. Actually, I must say, but by the same token, he acquitted himself perfectly fine, and it's a great time to have William Saliba have some kind of small, relatively innocuous knock, because you've got the Brighton trip, which is, it's a tough one, but it's not necessarily a tough one for the centre halves. Brighton is typically a tough one for the midfield and a tough one for fullbacks, and kind of they've got players that will get at you, and you kind of got to deal with it that way. And then we got Macclesfield, which to be frank, Mansfield. That's the well. Yeah, it's one or the other, right? And then even after that, to a certain extent, I'll be reasonably confident in the next week as well. So, it's not the worst time for it to have happened as an overall impression of Saliba being absent. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and I think again, Hincapié deserves his starting spot at left back, and again he showed his well, he showed how he's a decent player. But not that anyone had put on a decent performance in that first half anyway. But he's shown his value. I think the meritocracy is there. He's now the incumbent, and I think given how that first half went,
that's a big shout, though. I still think we're missing.
No, but I'm not saying we're not missing him, but I think he's earned his starting place, and there's no reason to drop him. Yeah, and a bit like Calafiori was number one, and then Hincapié had to take his time, and then this is what happens, and this is why it's a great squad, great squad. So anyway, that's the sort of semi-serious bit done. So what was your highlight and low light of Brighton Hove Albion 0, Arsenal 1 (brackets) Man City 2, Nottingham Forest 2, close brackets? What was your highlight of of the evening?
Highlight is because Saka winding it back to the previous 2 years and just maybe not even the previous 2 years, but just like about 3-year patch that he had where he was really establishing himself, where that cut inside and strike, and it might come off someone, it might force the keeper into something, but striking through players, striking through a crowd, from that cutback with enough conviction that they just end up in the back of the net on a regular basis has been in short supply for a little while. So, that's the easy one. Sorry to have taken the highlight. Really,
no. I haven't actually thought of a highlight yet, so that's fine. You haven't taken you.
I've got a backup if I can suggest if you want it. But
go for it. Go on. Tonight is a night of highlights, so go for it.
And then low light, probably Victor Gyökeres's performance. It's kind of pretty. I still haven't. I've remained reasonably unswayed. I had a text off Monk the other day, who's a big Villa fan, saying our last conversation together was about 2 months ago, and me slagging off Victor Gyökeres, I think, around about the time of the Villa game, and he said, "Oh, we'll take him off you now if you want. He's scoring a few goals and whatever." And I said, to be honest, mate, all he's done is elevated himself from like Chris Ray to Kevin. If he's still not good enough, but he's Kevin Campbell not good enough for the Arsenal. And I say that with love and respect, because Kev Campbell was one of my favourite players from when I was about 7-8 years old. But Kev Campbell was never going to be Arsenal's number 9, and I still don't think Victor Gyökeres is ever going to be Arsenal's number 9. However, the combination of effort and a little bit of quality and ability to put the ball in the back of the net in the right circumstances are all there, and therefore he can be more passable than I necessarily thought, and he has improved his all-round game. Today was not fucking evidence of that whatsoever. It was back to I'm haunted by how bad this striker is kind of territory.
Yeah,
and I don't want to dwell on that's like to get the most.
No.
One, and then it's sort of done then, and at least then there was a bright spark of when Havertz came on. I actually enjoyed his contributions a little bit.
Will you see the difference when Havertz comes on and what he offers and how he plays, and he just looks so composed, calm, in control. Okay, there's elements maybe he could have done better with that one-on-one chance, but it's he's going to have the ball under control, and maybe what lets him down there is a bit of pace, and also he's a bit rusty. No, and I think look, the end result is what matters, and I don't want to do results-based analysis, even though there may be a bit of some of that at the end, because that first half was absolutely horrible, and everyone bar Raya and Gabriel were terrible or on the edge or just not great at all that first half. So you picking out Victor Gyökeres, yes, but you could say the same for a lot of other players in that first half, where the whole team collectively bar.
It was disjointed, wasn't it? Yeah, the whole thing was disjointed, and I agree with that.
Yes. So if you've got priors, which you have, then but this is natural. You're going to go to the one person that you're looking at saying, see, but that's natural. So it's not a case of digging you out. But if your prior was Zubimendi at the moment is a bit slacking, or Hincapié or whatever, you're going to go and I'm concentrating on you and look what you didn't do. So it's Martinelli would be another one that a lot of people would pick on and say, well, he did nothing. But so that whole team in that first half was subpar. Second half, different story. But
it's looking a little bit just tired in places, isn't it? Over the last few days, last few games, Declan Rice with a couple of times of little mistakes that aren't that aren't what you're used to from him. Zubimendi, I think has actually had a real drop off in the last month as a whole. And I think he just looks a little bit leggy and a little bit jaded, right? And it is that, but that is a thing for teams competing on as many fronts as they are right now. And the important thing then, you become more of a moments team at this stage of the season for a club in our position. It's not about everybody having, fantastic 90 minutes. It's about stepping up at particular points in games to win them. And I think that's where we're at with them. And in fairness, even Vic has had those moments recently, right? So, you've got to be happy with everybody in that respect. I'm simply not expecting when they're playing every 3 days at this point to be flawless.
There's an element of fatigue, but also conserving, also the opposition. Sometimes in a tough game, and sometimes with Mendy, like he never experienced anything like this, and many of our players won't. Like no wins to break. He's
also never played this many games, has he?
No one has. I think
for Real. No, but he played for Real. So not even in the respect that like every other player we've got at least has gone deep in the Champions League or whatever. But admittedly, we haven't had as many League Cup games, FA Cup games combined. Yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
I think specifically with Zubi, and I just thought about it during today's game, and I did think you can maybe tell he played at Real Sociedad, where ultimately, especially because the Spanish Cup competition isn't that competitive until the latter rounds, and and where Sociedad are, they play like 40 games in a season, and we'd played 40 competitive matches, a while back. So yeah, it is a stretch for a couple of players, and obviously Marino's injury has been a big part of that as well. Yeah. And I would like to see MLS get some bloody minutes.
Well, I'm sure you would. I'm sure he will do it the weekend. And he said Zubimendi's played the most outfield minutes for us. He's actually run the most as well recently. I think Tottenham and other games he's run the most. And just actually, you were saying there, this is the most amount of games we've played at this stage of the season, I think, ever, sort of thing. Yeah. It's absolutely nuts. So yeah, it's understandable. So look, for me, I'm going to kick off with my lowlights, and there's a couple. One is Fabian Hertzler, and he's such a whinging, moaning, such a see you next Tuesday, always in the ear of the fourth official. The thing he said about the Arsenal time wasting, at corners, taking 1 minute each corner. Do you know the irony of that is that Brighton actually have a worse ball in play minutes than Arsenal do, sort of thing. So it's sort of like. And then the commentary were picking up, like any time we just did something that we didn't do immediate, they're time wasting this, and then the crowd, and it's shut up.
I mean, I thought we tried to kill the game, right? We did. We absolutely took momentum out of it, and we did things that we moan about.
But this was the first half. We're not talking about second half.
Yeah. But I thought first half we did that too. But I just felt like there was a very clear instruction there to say, look, Brighton like momentum. They're like waves. They like to get on a good thing and keep going at you relentlessly. And that is a Brighton thing. They love to do it, and it's exactly what we are at our very best, and where we were a couple of years back. Very, very high intensity in attack, and we've very clearly decided to shit as it today. And so, to be honest, I more kind of go, fuck it. If they're commenting on it, I'm happy to go, yep, I think we were. Yep, absolutely.
I know, within the crowd,
we were taking all the sting out of that match. Yeah. We were not trying to win it with quality, a bit of quality ultimately, but trying to go. We're not going to let you just kind of Mitoma us and mintate us.
Yeah, but it just all feeds back to that prick Fabian Hertzler at the end of the day. So that was my lowlight. Look, highlight. It was the Forest equaliser at 2-2. I have to admit that was my highlight of the evening. Just that, and then obviously
it's a good goal as well. Did you see it?
No, I haven't seen any of the goals.
Smarto finished from the outside of the area. It's
okay. And why don't you like Anderson? You put a post in the chat. I hate that man, but I love him.
It's sort of dual, right? So the first thing is he played for Scotland at every age group until under 21.
Right. Okay.
And then he went back when he was a tricky winger at the time, and I was really excited for him. And as a Scotland supporter, I was really looking forward to it. And then the bastard turned out to be quite a good central midfielder, better than he was a number 10 or a winger, and therefore switched his allegiances to England. So there's that. Which I also don't like. I used to hate Declan Rice for that as well.
The Island.
And then the the other part is just the fact he played for the Geordie Bastards as well, and I just don't like the look of him.
Okay, fair enough.
Pretty much it, to be honest. It's not much more deep than that, than just, when you've just got that innate thing with a player, you're like, I don't like him, and it's an accumulation of shit without necessarily being anything that, is that deep.
Yeah. So, I mean, those are my sort of two silly highlights, lowlights. Actually, in terms of more serious highlights, lowlights, depending if you want to go. I mean, the lowlight was that first half performance. Absolute dross. I said I put in my notes just a pile of shit. We were smashing and grabbing that. This how we got the one we were winning, and I mean, but I said it was our performance, and then the highlight was actually our performance from about 60 minutes in the second half. We shut that game down so well, and we'll get onto that. So in terms of proper highlights and lowlights, first half performance, second half performance, again, wasn't spectacular, but it was a really good, solid, defensive,
highly professional, right?
Yeah,
that was my overall. If you ask me, it's not like, well, if you were doing the 3-word reviews, I think I'd have to use professional in there somewhere. Like,
yeah.
Fucking professional would be my sum up, really.
No, it was superb. So look, in terms of the stats, I mean, look, it's not surprising that Brighton dominated 60-40, but this shows you the game. XG 0.8 to Brighton, 0.43 to Arsenal. They had 11 shots to our 7. They had 3 shots on target to our 2. They missed a couple of big chances. We didn't. I don't think we had any big chances. They had 2 big chances. We didn't have any. They missed both of theirs. Passing accuracy, 82% of 382 passes for Brighton, and we were at 71%, 227. 12 fouls, 4 corners to them, 3 to us. So, I mean, and then you look at the first half, our XG was 0.01. It's so good that we're on the right side of the XG thing. I mean, and look, this sums it up, because like that first half. Now look, and I think we did this in the preview pod, was that we knew Brighton were going to press high. They were going to be fast. They were going to be intense, and they did it for the whole of the half, and they didn't give us any breathing room, and we just couldn't play around it. There was something out. We couldn't get hold of the ball. We couldn't control it. But I put a lot of that down to actually how Brighton played that game, and they were really good at it. The one thing is, and this is very typical of Brighton, they have got like the most final third winning of possession, but then they do fuck all with it. This is what they do nothing with. And so and especially the second half, I was actually very calm that second half, because they really created nothing. And I didn't want to say anything in the group chat. We will tell us what you're saying, and I'm not jinxing, but I just felt, because normally I'm a bag of nerves and walking around. I was nervous because of the consequences, but I wasn't nervous because of Brighton or what they did. And actually, we dominated that lot, and it was us who were looking more likely to score than them. So how did you feel about the game as a whole, and our performance, and the result is obviously fantastic.
Well, one of the real plus sides was that I wasn't watching the first 25 minutes because I logged into Discovery Plus, and I clicked on the first, they have like the big banner that come up. That's what sport's on, and it was Arsenal versus Brentford. I went, oh, there you go, it's Arsenal versus BR, isn't it? So I just clicked on it, and I think
so you rewatched the Brentford game.
So so I went into it, and I thought I was running late. The thing is, I was cooking dinner at the same time, innit? So it's one of them where like you take the laptop in the kitchen, you got to.
And also 7:30 is an odd kickoff time. You're expecting 7:45.
It is. So like, and I was like, oh fucking brilliant! I thought this was 7:30. I haven't missed the start. Great, no worries. And they're doing all the pre-game interviews and stuff, and because it's like winding up slow. And it's a small ground. It's not like a giveaway ground. And Keith Andrews comes on, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, no, he's having a chat about that. And then they started talking about Arsenal set piece goals, and I'm going, oh, there you go. See, yeah, that's it. All everybody talks about, which does show that a month ago they were just talking about the same thing as them. And they were talking about managers getting sacked. And then at some point they mentioned Sean Dyche getting sacked. I thought, yeah, I thought he'd already gone. All right. And then it was only when they got on to Thomas Frank. I've watched about 20 minutes build to this point. And I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, Thomas Frank's just gone. Oh, shit. I'm watching the wrong game.
Wrong game.
I had to back out, get back in the game. At which point we're already a goal up. We're 25 minutes through the game. I'm scrolling back to go and watch the goal,
right.
and then ended up catching up at half time on what had happened in that first 25 minutes, which didn't take much skipping around to
No.
work out.
Okay.
To be honest.
So from
So
25 minutes.
that's my first thing.
So from 25 minutes, what did you feel of the performance in our game?
As a result, I felt remarkably calm throughout the game because I had no. I skipped straight from 0 to 1-0 to then like half an hour through, and skipped around, and therefore didn't notice the first half being as bad as you probably thought it was, to be completely honest, because I was kind of skipping about and getting myself there. So second half, on the other end, I was far more in the moment of, and I felt remarkably calm, and that was because we did shit ass a little bit. You could see what we were doing. We were breaking the momentum. We were doing that all the way through. We were playing very professionally, and Brighton didn't feel like they were being able to do what they wanted to do. There were a few moments where they got at us, and you expect that because Minte in particular, I never understand how he doesn't start games, because he just seems phenomenal. But he seems to have come off the bench against us every time we've played him in the last couple of years. But he is electric. But maybe it is because there doesn't necessarily seem to be an end product there a lot of the time, and that worked out for us. Gabriel seemed imperious. Raya seemed excellent. Everybody just seemed on task really in that second half, and I thought as well with Havertz too. I thought he was just that little bit sharp, little bit of hold up play, exactly as you said, control and composure at times, just to be able to. And again, looks rusty, but he's still Kai Havertz. And he had that assuredness almost.
We just look better with him in the team.
Exactly. So and then a real highlight for me as well was then the aways getting really, really loud. And I did notice we had a bloody huge sing-song that turned the place into our gaff round about the 75th minute, round about the time that they obviously everybody checked their phone and got the news about Forest. So the whole thing for me actually felt calm, positive, absolutely easy enough, a little bit boring almost. So I was in a good place.
Yeah, I mean, that first half, as I said, we just couldn't hold the ball. We couldn't find our forwards. So Saka was actually a danger when he ever had the ball. We just couldn't find him, and there was too many misplaced passes, sloppy passes, poor. Even like it started like the first minute. The first thing he did in the first minute was make a poor pass and gives the ball away, and it sort of set the tone for the first half. But again, I put this down to Brighton were impressive in their off the ball play. They just did not give us a minute to breathe, and maybe they ran out of steam in the second half. It's one thing doing all the energy trying to win the ball, be off the ball, but then you need to have the energy to create something, and I felt like their transition play was lacking. So they do well to get the ball, but then there was no quality in the final third. Their transition play was poor, and we were able to recover. There was like one, Hincapié, I think, did recover. There was one moment, I think Rice gave the ball away and then came back and did this amazing recovery tackle throughout. So, so again, it's one of those ones that feels bad because we're not in control. But they actually, there's a few things. Okay, teams are going to have to do something. There are going to be a few shots, and you're going to have to make a save. But there wasn't anything like, oh my word, maybe a couple of things. The different night might not have gone our way, but I think it was like in the 24th minute they came up with this stat, and it was like 9% of the ball was in their final third, 43% in the middle, and 48% in ours. So it just shows the field tilt and the domination. But again, been there before with passive possession and nothing really. So I mean, Arteta would have hated it because it was very basketball-y, up and down, and so I think we did the right things just to try and kill the atmosphere as much as possible, kill any momentum. Maybe we could just see we're not creating anything, and we've now got a goal out of nothing. Fine, let's hold on to it. You add that to Mosquera getting booked, which then put him a bit on edge, and
it was a little bit of a worry, that wasn't it? In fairness,
we'd been there a couple of times, but he did again. We've got him off just in time, and I don't think he did anything egregious to get a second yellow. And I think his first yellow was quite soft. And actually, the Kavanagh was very slow in giving Brighton their first yellow card. But there wasn't anything massively egregious as far as I'm concerned. Hertzler was thinking anytime he breathed, he needed a second yellow and stuff. But yeah, it was just getting to that point. He was maybe starting to fatigue, starting to get in his head and say, right, okay, and fine. I'd rather have Hincapié move in. and Calafiori's a great centre back, and then also bring on Norgard, which again
I thought Calafiori was positive to see come on as well, because he did those Calafiori things. So a couple of times, adding that extra overlap in a way that Hincapié just doesn't do, and that little bit of menace. A few moments where it kind of became a thing, and it just he allows us sometimes as well. I think even in transition, more so than Hincapié does, he allows us almost like a little bit of a breather. So there's a couple of times where we did lose the ball around their right back channel. And he was around there, and he just does that bit of harrying, bit of dickhead stuff, and doesn't kind of march backwards, and actually prevents that transition and allows people to just kind of compose themselves a little bit. But I thought, again, exactly as you say, the right decisions made throughout. Hooking Mosquera was a good decision. Which I do think, I think I mentioned it the other day in one of the chats. It's been a common theme, I think, of one of the reasons that we haven't picked up any runs this year, is that Mikel absolutely will hook you on a yellow this season. He's done it to Marino a couple of times.
Well, he should have been sent off, but quick, get him off before they change their mind.
Yeah, Marino had a couple of times getting hooked.
I think Timber as well, maybe.
Timber as well. And he's quite, and I think this is the thing, because he's
MLS as well.
Because he's got that great trusted bench, he's just able to go risk. Let's get rid of the risk. Just take that risk out of there. Like, it doesn't matter how they got the yellow. It doesn't matter if they're tilted or anything like that, or whether it's just take them off they go. And to take off your centre half is always a bit of a weird one, isn't it? But right decision, because you just, as you say, you're switching Capier, you put Calafiori in there, and you're good to go. But everything felt professional to me. That was the
I mean, and also the other thing you missed, I think, in the 3rd minute, another dumbass moment. Raya, I don't know. Well, you might have saw it on catch up when he does one. He's pass out under pressure. I don't know who it was passing to, but again, just the Brighton player nipped in, and I thought he went for the harder option and he did the chip, but it gave Gabriel a chance to get back. If he sort of takes it to his left foot and tries to drill it home, then no one's getting that. Maybe just early gets a bit excited, so we sort of got away with one, and maybe it was just going to be our evening, and that was maybe another reason why I was fairly calm, because it just felt like this might be it's just our evening tonight, and we're not going to let in a goal because of what's happened. No, it's not. And then we get the one goal in the 10th minute, and look, it's against the run of play. It's lucky, but it's lucky in that, right, if you don't take a shot, you're not going to score. And then we've been a bit, especially against Chelsea, I think there were some chances where we were trying to find the perfect opportunity to shoot. Saka was trying this a lot in Chelsea, he just never got the space. So it was nice to see him cut inside and let fly. Takes a little deflection of Believer and go through the keeper's legs. But as I say, if you don't buy a ticket, you're not gonna win the lottery, as they say.
And it was probably going to need something like that, to be honest, because they were defending extremely well. They were taking the space really well. It did mean that they weren't, certainly at that point, at least anyway, he wasn't doubled up on. And you know what Saka's like. If he's not doubled up on, he's going to give it a go. And half the time he does that cut in, it seems almost better when there's a crowd of players around him. And it might deflection and nip in, or it might well end up that it unsights the keeper and the keeper sees it late. And that it works. And it's nice to see him be able to drive inside and get that away, and get a little bit fortunate, but you make your own luck in the respect that you see the time where it's dangerous to take a strike, and rather than trying to sling one in the box for somebody, and it worked out all good.
Happy, but that was pre-itch. So that was like that was the first half, and then second half, they took Matoma off, brought Minter on, so like for like in terms of tricky fast wingers who are going to cause you trouble down the wings. I think the first 15 minutes was a bit of a carryover, but then I think we made the subs. Even Trossard, even though he's a bit out of form recently. He's not scored since December. He hasn't assisted. He's sort of he's off his peak. Him again. We needed people who could just hold up the ball, that could run with the ball and keep it. The problem with I think Martinelli was the right choice because they had such a high line. There was a couple of times that we could have broken away. We just didn't. Again, we almost broke away a couple of times in the first half because of their high line. So again, maybe Martinelli is good. offer some defensive solidity as well with the threat and on the counter that Brighton offer. So I wasn't too bothered about that. But then when we needed just someone just to hold the ball, someone to just to get it, pass it back, and all the rest of it. Then again, Trossard and Havertz. I think these are the subs that sort of won us the game in terms of getting that control in it.
And he did well, Trossard, with the exception of, oh my God, the lovely inside ball, the little pattern of play that
what a move.
Saka, Timber, and Trossard. And it just deserved at least getting a strike on goal. Yeah. Unfortunately, he just slices it with his left knee, which also bit of a weird one to see him even take it on his left in that position. But yeah.
Well, he did it. He remember when he Everton a couple of years back when he came in off his left and he did that and he sort of just seemed like another one of those slice shots and everyone, oh, that's gone in. It was a weird one. Not that he was trying to replicate that, but yeah, I think it was maybe just he was just stretching a little bit, and I think it went out for a throw in. Actually, that is one of those ones that's so bad it went out for.
It was absolutely, but it was such a lovely little.
It was the only bit of quality,
and you can see that ball being available to Timber, and Timber was nice and calm with it. Draws a player, plays the inside ball to Tross. It was just one of those moments. She's like, now that would have been a lovely bloody way to seal that game. That was just the only complaint I have about Trossard. I think otherwise, he came on and he did a decent job.
Yeah, it was the only bit of quality. There was the chance with Havertz sort of going through the middle. And Brighton were throwing the ball into the box as you do, but even then, there were a lot of the free kicks they were having. They were poor. They were hitting them towards the edge of the box rather than into the real mixer. And I found that really strange because you think, if you're playing Arsenal at the moment, you just know we are shitting ourselves. We are just like you feel like you've got a chance. A bit like Chelsea at the weekend. They just knew you just scratch that scab a bit and we're going to bleed, if you see what I mean. So I'm surprised they didn't do more just putting in there when we're having to make decisions. When he did
especially with Welbs on, because Welbs loves that stuff, right? I mean, he absolutely loved that stuff when he was at the Arsenal even as well. He's Mr. Desperation, like if you need something desperate in the last few minutes and somebody spring himself out of a centre half, he's pretty damn good at it. So yeah, I must admit, I was a little surprised at that as well. It didn't feel like they actually did enough in any way, shape, or form to create the opportunities where they might get the equaliser. So.
Yeah, and as I said, it was more likely to be us who were going to score on the counter, score on the break. But it was that whole game. Just when the ball's just not falling in the right way, or it's not in front of you, or we just can't get away. And they're making last-ditch tackles. We're doing so it was great, but. In terms of the overall performance, I think a massive shout out again to Gabriel was immense at the back. He was, if we get on to particular players, my man of the match, I think a lot of people's would be Gabriel. Was just thou shalt not. It was his Gandalf impression. Thou shalt not pass. Nothing. He was getting everything. He was heading everything. He was like a man. He was just managing that defense. Shepherding Mosquera because you could see he was a bit iffy. Raya was good too. I think apart from that one mistake, he made some pretty good. He made some good saves. Nothing that he shouldn't do, and nothing as spectacular like the one against Chelsea. But again, important, getting the ball, claiming the ball. So those two were the reason we won today. I think.
Yeah, I mean, Gabriel for me is by far the number one. It's effectively an auto pick for me. That one. There's no conversation about anyone else.
Yeah, it was superb. So it was a sort of So I think everyone nervous, but also if you just reflect on it, there was nothing to be nervous about. It's just that we've been here before. We had Wolves, and there shouldn't be anything to be nervous about. And look what happens. So I think we're just like But for me, this wasn't like playing Brentford, where you just oh my god, let's just just think, okay. So it was sort of. We won by being the better team ultimately in that second half. I think it was relatively controlled, didn't have too much. Yeah, so more than happy. And then you get the news about City, and we're all following the City thing, and we all thought, oh, here we go, 1-0, Semenyo again. I was waiting for Guido to tell us how many times we should have bought him, and one night in the chat, but the spares, and then Forest equalised, and and that's not going to last. And again, Rodri comes up from a set piece, nonetheless scores, and then 2-2, and you think, oh well, we're waiting for it to be 3-2. God, they're not going to hold on. They're going to play until City win, and then I think the loudest cheer of the night, I carried on watching it a bit, was the Arsenal fans' reaction to hearing that the City game was finished, and it was a huge reaction. So look, this is the sort of game that does win you a title. You look back on this and say, we survived that. We got through that. That was not easy. We had to battle. We weren't playing well. We had to get through adversity and in inverted commas sort of thing. And I was waiting for the switch to be the other way. I was waiting for them to equalise and for City to score, and then for it to be that way around. But that didn't happen. And I think it was you saying the other day, I think, about just little things falling our way, playing home after every Champions League game. We're now going to be playing a lot more games before City in the month of April. They've still got their game at hand to play. We've got Mansfield, they've got Newcastle away. Just these little things that just add up. I mean, look, this hasn't won us the title. The City result hasn't lost them the title, but it goes a long way to saying, you've got a bloody good chance here. For once, we've taken advantage of, and maybe it is. We're both playing at the same time, so we're not having that pressure of what the other team does. So, how do you think? I mean, look, let me just double check. So we're 7 points clear of City, yeah. 8 games to go.
With them having a game in hand, yes, for sure.
Okay,
which is
fine.
Got to be acknowledged.
Let them have 5 points. So we're 5 points ahead of City. Worst case scenario.
So the key thing at the moment is if we continue to win our games, which are all, I think we all agree, are very winnable games, as we move through them, then by the time we're playing them, which is 3 league fixtures to go.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like, so I was looking at the league fixtures. I've got it here. So our next league fixture is actually the 14th of March, so a couple of weeks away against Everton. And then we don't play until April the 11th. So there's practically a month before our next league fixture. So we got
that's why I'm saying, like, it's league fixtures wise. I think it's only about 3 away, isn't it? But but it is a month, and it's like 5 weeks away is the actual fixture, isn't it? So I think the by that time, so if we can beat Everton, which I think at home we will do, to be honest, if we can take 3 points there, 3 points against whoever is next, and I honestly can't.
Then it's Bournemouth. So we got Everton at home, then Bournemouth, and then Bournemouth,
and then City. Cool, yeah. So we take 6 points out of those 2 games, then we have a cushion, right? You can go up there, you cannot get a result, and you still guarantee yourself top place. It's all in your hands, basically. And if you get the draw at that point, I would say, start getting ready for the fucking parade.
Start your engines.
So it does. Yeah, I think it's just that cushion in it. It's just that that little bit of a sense of breathing room, and I think hopefully it relieves a little bit of tension with the players as much as it might do for fans as well.
Yeah,
there's only a tiny bit of pressure it's going to take off, right? It is a pressure cooker situation for the rest of the season. But if it just eases that little bit of weight off everybody's shoulders, and if it means that we start the game against Everton in 2 weeks, in nearly 2 weeks' time now, right? 10 days' time. If we start that game with the fans absolutely up for it, and we don't get tense and we don't get nervous because we haven't scored after 20 minutes, then I think that would be like a world of good. That's almost where I'm seeing it, is a bit of the points obviously matter because everything matters all the way until the end of the season. But the way that I'm looking at it myself is kind of going, I'd just like it just to have that little bit of a positive impact on everybody. The vibes to be a little bit less about the tension, which is still going to be there.
Of course,
about that and a bit more about the enjoyment, and see if we can just get behind the boys in particular at Everton, and carry them into another win and another week of being a good few points clear.
Yeah, and it just gives us a little bit of breathing space. Not that we want to mess up, but football's inevitable and stuff like that. So it just gives a bit of breathing space, and stuff to should we open the door again to Mr. Calamity that okay, fine, you know, it might not be the end of the world. So it's just like, yeah, it might just calm everyone down a bit, you know, that sort of thing. So look, it's fantastic. I don't think anyone's expecting it. We're looking at predictions. I was looking at it. All of us predicted Man City to win. I predicted this to be a draw, so did Ian. You actually predicted this to be a win, but that's only because you counted the Chelsea draw. So actually, you know, this is a real bonus thing. And I think where everyone was looking for City to drop is the time around April, if they get through against Real Madrid, which they should do, then they're playing Bayern Munich twice in and around our game, in and around.
Well, and it's Stamford Bridge, mate. I mean, it's a big deal for them. I think, like,
yeah,
Stamford Bridge the week before they play us is a hell of a trip. Honestly, as well, at the moment, I'm quite looking forward to the West Ham game. I'm really looking forward to them going down to West Ham, because West Ham have picked up a really nice little bit of form at the moment, and West Ham have got hope in their hearts of staying up, and you know, Danny Dyer's son-in-law is having a bit of a time of it again, like he does once a year. So you never know.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, we started this new section on the Grove podcast called Relegation Watch, and and West Ham are now 1 point behind Tottenham. Now Tottenham do have a massive goal difference in their favour. West Ham are -19, Tottenham -5, but at the bottom, so Tottenham are on 16. Okay, they got to play Palace at home tomorrow. Two clubs not in particularly great form, and it's you know. But
if West Ham helped us to the title whilst sending Tottenham, can you? The worst part is they'd be up for it as well, because they don't like us, but they don't like Spurs a lot more.
Oh no, I think they hate Spurs more.
Which is the general rule with all London with all London rivalries. Nobody likes us, but they all fucking hate Tottenham.
even more and stuff like that. So yeah, and look, you forget the point also helps Forest. So Forest on 28 points, West Ham on 28 points, Tottenham are on 29. That's getting. I mean, that's a big win for West Ham. That was away at Fulham, you know, the other day. You know,
same as it was a good point for Forest today as well, right? I mean, that is a really interesting little spot there, and you never know. Like, I mean, I am watching that not only for the Tottenham situation, but also, you know, I was thinking today, you know, it is a difficult match for City. It is, you know, Forest have a team that finished sixth last season, seventh, was it sixth or seventh? That sat in the top three for the majority of the season. They are not a bad football team. They are not a bad bunch of players. They have not lost that much talent. They lost the fucking plot off the pitch largely this season is what happened. And as a result, they've been in a quagmire. They shouldn't go down as a result of the quality they've got in that squad. But, you know, and they did a job over City, and West Ham are kind of similar, right? They've got talent, but they're a fucking basket case, but they're just pulling their heads out their asses at the right time of the season. And see, you never know. The nice thing is I don't have to hedge anything on it, because I've got it down as being, in my head, West Ham lose that game, right?
Yeah.
But when I look at it, I'm there going, if I'm a City fan, I'm going, I'd rather go to a mid-table team that's not on a great run of form. Do you know what I mean? I think I'd probably rather at this stage be going to like a Palace, you know, mid-table but stagnating and not really going anywhere.
And before that, they got and before that they got 2 away games, one to Newcastle in the FA Cup, and then they got to go to Real Madrid before they go to. So they got Newcastle away, Real Madrid away, and then West Ham away. That's not a happy throuple there. So yeah. So anyway, so I just want to
should have finished top of the Champions League, shouldn't they?
Yeah, well, there you go. See,
finish top of the Champions League, and you get to go and play a team that's not doing that well in Germany, and that's and you know, slightly better world, isn't it?
There we go. All is good in the world. And look, Andino 6087 wrote in and said, going back to the Brighton game, yes, lads, come on, you fucking GG, come on, you fucking Gunners. I don't know what the first year is, but it doesn't matter. Fuck Brighton. Come on, you fucking glorious Gunners. There you go. I'll put the G in for you. Fuck Brighton and their manager. By the way, why does every club think that we're their rivals? Get in. Thank you for that. And Dino 607. Yeah, there is that thing that we do seem to teams seem to just get up for us, and they all just hate us coming and whatever. I don't care anymore because we're top of the league by 7. But it's just sort of like, teams always seem to get up for the game against us. Either they've been riled up by the manager saying what he does, or something else. I don't know, but whatever. That's maybe a complex. The other thing that happened today is like Villa are going full Emery again, so they got stuffed at home 4-1 to Chelsea, which I don't like to see, but it's always also very. So we want Chelsea and Liverpool, one of them, to fall out of the Champions League places, but it feels like Aston Villa are going to be the ones that are going to let Chelsea and Liverpool in, and all that talk about Villa potentially being in the title race. It's now we're on 67 points, they're on 51. Even Man United have gone above them.
No, but I did say that they ain't gonna. I don't think it's a bad thing. I almost want Villa now to just coast a bit, just stay where they are. Let's just let the status quo remain where it is until the last couple of weeks, because Villa is second to last game for City.
No, it's their last game. So actually, we want that game to mean something.
That's what I mean. I want so at the moment it means something, right? Because there's 3 points, right? If that could stay a 3-point margin with 2 teams 3 points behind them, so Villa know they at least get a draw and you guaranteed it. Then I'm buzzing for that being City's last game in that scenario. So, and that's, I think, what I was saying the other day. And at the time, I know that the gap was bigger, but I kind of said, if Villa have something to play for in that last game, that's a good result for us.
Yeah, and it's Villa versus United at United next, so that's 3rd versus 4th. So yeah, that's turning into an interesting 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. And look, Brentford.
It still boggles my mind that you're saying it's 3rd versus 4th, and you've just mentioned Manchester United.
And how the fact that they, I know,
what Manchester United 3rd?
Well, because they've won 4 and drawn 1 out of their last 5 games. Yes, so it's
just bizarre though. I mean, it's just such a, because if you like, the narrative of their season was not that. I mean, it's so bizarre. But
Carrick's turned it around. So there we go. Anyway, that's enough talk about everyone else. Played 30, won 20, drawn 7, lost 3, plus 59. Minus 22, plus 37 goal difference, 67 points. We're okay. We're doing good. And that's another thing people forget. People forget about this season. We've only lost 3 games this season, which is nuts in nearly 50 games. That's incredible in all 4 competitions. And so we're in a really happy, giddy place. And I was just like, after that result, I didn't know what to do with myself, because I was like, daughter going to bed, I scared the dog, and my wife's looking at me saying, what's going
on? For anyone thinking it's stuttering or whatever, both ourselves and City have won more points over the last 6 games than any other team in the league, right? Nobody else has the record that both of us do. We're both unbeaten. We've both drawn twice, won 4. Nobody else is accumulating those points.
Man United is the other team, but
the pace is still there between us, and we're maintaining the gap, and that is fantastic. That's just what you want to see at this point of the season. The longer you maintain that gap, the more points they have to overcome. And at the moment, they're now at a stage where you're talking even if they were to win their game in hand, then they're talking half a point a game. That's effectively the margin.
Oh yeah, this is your thing. You want to get to how many points per game are you wanting to get?
Half a point a game. Half a point a game at this stage of the season is lovely. It's just lovely, right? Really, really nice place to be. Because then, let's see what happens. But the clock just keeps ticking and ticking and ticking.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. So 8 games to go. Right. Anyway. I think we're all very happy. We're all going to sleep well tonight. Well, we're either going to sleep well or we're not going to sleep at all, because we're just going to be metering the hell out of it. They think about blue light before bedtime. Forget about that, kids. Just blue light the hell out this evening. Enjoy it while you can. There's only work tomorrow. You can be late. Your boss won't mind. Right. Okay. So let's get on to your 3-word reviews quickly, and then we'll get on to Mansfield. So let me have a look. Okay. So let's look at on Blue Sky. Ask Cannon Picks in from this parish. Never predict results. Yep, correct. We got that one wrong from the City side of things for sure. Sam Doggin, never in doubt. I'm with you on that one. Second half, I like this one, and this is a play on our motto from Jack Land Snide: victory through agony. That is brilliant. I think that is absolutely class.
That's good.
Mr. C the Gooner could be pivotal. It will be. And Hans Lejeune, I think he's going to be sending this one to me every week. It's a Latin one. Luctor et emergo. So how's your Latin?
It's actually not that bad because I'm good at etymology, but I don't know what that first one is.
I keep having to look this up. It's basically emerging through suffering. So there you go.
That's interesting.
It's I struggle and overcome. Okay, so I didn't get the tense right, but yeah, I struggle and overcome. There you go. And every week he's been sending me that one. So thank you, Has, and thank you for those. Yeah, I think victory through agony might get that temporarily tattooed for the next couple of months. Okay, so let's go to threads. If I get it working. Okay, 3-word reviews. Okay, right. Paul Latham, Dignity 18, Arsenal, Rock, Brighton. Very good. He's always good with his play on words, Paul. Robin, Kent, SF, Man City drew. They did. Yen Han 10, 7 points lead. Groovy Cathers 2, we control destiny. Yeah, it's all in our hands now. It's not in City's hands. Flood, Colm, I hate Hertzler. I'm with you, brother. DJ Bukat, Hertzler in tears. You love to see it. Astrid Felicialin, Pierre said, shh. Did you see that when Hincapie told Hertzler to shut up or just be quiet?
Yeah, I mean, so what we're mainly getting here is that like threads is basically the anti-Bukat, isn't it? It's a real there's a real hive of like we just hate this Austrian dickhead.
Exactly. Danny Mast, fuck off win. It was. Another Dr. Lecter's dentist, Hertzler wastes game. And M row 1, another 3 points. Okay, and then X, we have, what do we have? Let me just look if it helps me. X is being dumb. Make tonight count from Dubs for Sam, from Mick, who I met the other day. Cool. And then on to the Grove, the unhinged Grove. So Moz, hey, Semen, yo, question mark. Okay. Noel Mickaday, 8 to go. Yep. Alex Monroe, keep fucking going. Oh, Shanice. Oh, yeah. Also, happy birthday, Shanice, Queen of the Grove. Best birthday ever. Indeed. What else we got? Because there's a picture of Dame Judi Dench. Alistair from the Grove, damaging mental health. Yeah, I hear you. Daljit, we back up. Yeah. Darwick, huge clean sheet. Yeah, exactly. We got a clean sheet, which is it's something that sort of gets lost, even though we know it's 1-0. We don't keep many clean sheets at the moment. So yeah, I think a good one. What else? Is there anything else? Kazira of this parish. I love Hincapie. I think we all do. Ecuadorian King. CERN, fight. Was there? Did I miss something? Was there a fight at the end? But anyway. All right. And there we go. So good. Thank you for those. Victory through agony. Love it. All right. Cool. Right. We play Mansfield in the FA Cup, 5th round at the weekend, 12:15. Any particular thoughts on the game? Anything that you're looking forward to, not looking forward to, as far as that game is concerned?
Not particularly. I mean, I saw that Nigel Clough basically just has come out and said we'll probably get battered, which I thought was sort of quite fantastic and not a very of the Clough world sort of thing to say, really.
What's your team talk?
Yeah.
What's your team talk? Yeah, just don't get battered.
Yeah. So I look, I don't know a huge amount about them. The only thing I I know really is a couple of the players, and Nigel Clough, obviously. Former Arsenal player's son playing against us. That's our connection against lower league opposition today.
Oh, who's that?
This weekend. Max Dickoff, son of Paul Dickoff.
Oh, right, okay. I did. Because I know you love this sort of thing, and I did try and look through the team sheet and the squad list. I didn't notice that. I don't know why I didn't notice that.
Max Dickoff, yeah, he was obviously Paul Dickoff was one of George Graham's last youngsters.
Yeah.
I think he might have been George Graham's last debut.
Okay.
Might have been.
And then he went to City. Then he went to City.
He was at City, yeah, City and Leicester, wasn't he? But he mainly was at City, and he's Max Dickoff's of the City Academy, I think. But yeah, so that's our little connection. Otherwise, I think they're fairly shite, and we should be able to put them away fairly easily. And you would certainly hope so, and you'd expect to see a bit of MLS. You'd expect to see, maybe we see a couple of one or two of the academy kids. It would be quite nice too. So yeah, it's I'm kind of looking forward to it and seeing who he puts on the pitch and what goes on really.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't played them. The last time we played them was January the 26th, 1929, in the FA Cup. We won 2-0. Yeah, look, it's always with these things a bit like Wigan. You just want to see some of the secondary squad players getting some minutes. It's the FA Cup. Get away from the stresses of the Premier League. It's a bit of light relief. I think something that we all need. I think the travelling army, it's a new ground to go to. I'm pretty sure none of them were about 197 years ago.
Anyone you really want to see? I mean, I really want to see Norgard. I really want to see MLS.
Yeah.
I'd love to see a second half cameo for Theo Julian. I think that'd be like the icing on the cake for me if we get comfortable enough to put him on. Even if we're just comfortable enough to put him on the bench, because I don't think he's featured on a first team bench yet, but it would be the ideal time.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I was just thinking about who we play. So Kepa, obviously, the fact that we got some injuries like White, can he play? MLS will play, Calafiori will play. I'd like to see Salmon play. Give him time. So I think anyone that started today should not be playing. But the question is, what happened to Saliba? Does that mean Mosquera plays? Don't know. Hopefully White is fit, but he's not even on the bench. So is he going to be fit for that game? Was he on the bench? I don't think he was on the bench today.
No, he wasn't. I don't think.
No, there was no. The bench. Yeah, there was. There was Dowman was even on the bench. Oh, I forgot about Dowman. Yeah, Dowman can get minutes as well.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. I mean, and it would make sense for Dowman to feature for sure. Yeah.
Whether he starts or not, again, the usual thing at that age, starting a game at 15 years of age, you tire very quickly, so you always bring him on. But yeah, Norgard, hopefully Odegaard will be fit. MLS, this could be when MLS does play midfield. Madueke, Jesus. Yeah, don't know, maybe Dowman, maybe a couple of other youngsters. So let's see. I mean, as you say, don't know much about Mansfield. So they are, where are they? They are 16th in League One. On 41 points, played 10, drew 11, lost 12. Scored 39, let in 37. So yeah, they're 4 points above Wigan, who we spanked 4-1. Their last win in the league was back in January 17th against Port Vale, 3-0. And since then, they've drawn 6, lost 3. So look, yeah, it's league and League One opposition, towards the bottom of the table. Their cup run has been beating Harrogate, won on penalties against Accrington Stanley, beat Sheffield United away and Burnley away, which Sheffield United away is not too bad, and beating Burnley. Oh my God, they beat Burnley. I just realised who they beat, so that was a sort of thing. But yeah,
I have a feeling didn't I mean Burnley are fucking awful right now.
Yeah,
so that's weirdly not surprising. But I think
still
put out a cup team for that as well.
Yeah, I know, but still
which I think then when you consider that Burnley's cup team is like Burnley's reserve team, which Burnley's reserve team ain't. It's different worlds in it. You know what I mean?
I know, but just at Burnley, you still expect a bit of quality there. You still expect a few reserves who don't get a game, so that's not bad result. I didn't clock. Maybe I saw Bury as opposed to Burnley, but anyway. So look, but again, we should be doing them with our reserves and a few academy kids. I think the one thing that you said there was Nigel Clough saying what he said. I think I got something here. The Stags announcer Alan Wilson ahead of the cup tie with Arsenal. He said, "I don't think they've faced anything like Reece Oates before." So I looked up Reece Oates. He scored 6 goals for Mansfield. He's 31 years of age. He's a tall fella. 1 assist, 1 red card. But he's not scored since February the 14th, which was in the cup. So there we go. I'm looking forward to seeing Reece Oates. Thank you, Adam Wilson, for the heads up. Let's see what Reece we can do. So okay, look, what do you predict?
What am I predicting? I mean, depends what we put out in it. But what was the Wigan score in the end? It was 4-0, I think. I mean, we should probably go one better, if I'm honest, the caliber of player. Okay. So I'm going to go one better. I'm going to say 5. Let's go 5.
I think
away
at home.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. I reckon so. I mean, they're ostensibly worse than Wigan,
but they're not. But Wigan are below. Wigan are worse than them. They're below in the league.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Wigan just based on the squads. I haven't really looked at.
No. Wigan are 19th with 37 points. They're Mansfield are a massive 4 points above them, and they've scored a whole lot more goals. So I think you should be downsizing, not up.
Maybe. I mean, player for player, I still think Wigan turned up with a stronger 11 is the thing. But it is what it is. Yeah. I mean, balls. Still saying.
5-0. Okay, fair enough. I'm just going same again. 4-0, something like that. So yeah, look, it should be a win. Should be a night. I mean, having cup ties like this are really a privilege because it just really gives us a chance to give other players a rest. And after the Brighton,
when you look at City playing Newcastle, that's an absolute touch. It's an absolute touch, as well as the fact that actually I'm so much happier to have played a game more than they have as well in the league.
Because they got it in Palace somewhere. You know what? Do you want City to get through against Newcastle? So again, same amount of games, or would you just want them out and another negative for them?
Yes, I think to be honest, in a weird way, I'd rather we just play City a shit ton of times and work things out between us than Newcastle in the FA Cup. Because I've just got Newcastle in the FA Cup. That dickhead Gordon scoring, isn't he? Just something really fucking annoying as well. Something will happen. So I don't know, for whatever reason,
it's the usual not kicking 7 shades of shit out of each other, loads of yellows, loads of reds, season-ending injury, but you can still go to the World Cup for Haaland, something like that. So and there we go. So never won it too bad. Okay, cool. Okay, well look, hope you enjoyed that. We certainly have. We're certainly drunk on Premier League points and a performance that got us a result. So thank you, Jamie, for joining me. Appreciate that. That's a good one. So okay, well, as I said, thank you for your comments, 3-word reviews, and look, you can follow us on Threads, Blue Sky, X, TikTok, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, on the podcast apps and our YouTube channel at The Grove AFC. Leave a nice comment, rating, etc., all that jazz, and it helps us get into the ears of the less fortunate than yourselves. So appreciate that. We should hopefully have a hot off the pitch post Mansfield and pre Leverkusen, which is next week. So
that's been selected as a hot off the pitch.
Well, is it? We do them for any away game that we're not doing.
Big games, is it? Oh, right. Cool.
Any away game that we're not doing, so we'll get it done and so on. And hopefully I'll be going to the Leverkusen game. Tickets go on sale for me tomorrow at 3:00. So let's see if I'm going there. I've got a message from my mate who lives in Frankfurt that hopefully that I'll visit. Hopefully he can pick me up from the airport. Anyway, that's another story. And there we go. So look, top of the league, 7 points. Okay, City have a game at hand, but they have to win that. It's in our hands. We're all very happy, very giddy.
And everything, mate. Every day's like day we're getting the quads out, isn't it?
We're getting the quads out. Well, if Tottenham go down, that's the quintuple. That'll be so. It's still on. It's all still on. Thank you, West Ham. Thank you, Forest. Thank you, Arsenal. Thank you, or should that be fuck you, Hertzler? Thank you for listening, and until the next time, come on, you Gunners.